What if the key to unlocking your higher self has been right in front of you this whole time? And what if the ancient ones, mystics, sages, seers left clues in plain sight? Symbols, texts, whispers across time, all waiting for you to remember. Welcome to the Enchanted Archive, where lost wisdom breathes again. This isn't just about uncovering mysteries. It's about remembering what the world has tried to make us forget. If you feel drawn to ancient knowledge and the deeper truths of existence, you're not alone. You're being called. So go ahead, subscribe. Let's walk this hidden path side by side. Because there's a reason you've always sensed there's more to this life. More to you. And that reason, it might live within what mystics call the Astral Body. Now, don't brush it off as fantasy. The astral body is one of the oldest ideas known to human thought, passed down through Hermetic scrolls, echoed in Gnostic scripture, and found in esoteric teachings from Egypt to the Himalayas. It's your energetic double, your subtle twin, the part of you that slips away when you dream, and maybe when you leave this world. According to Hermetic wisdom, you're not just skin and thoughts. You are layers, shells of light, mind, and essence. And the astral body, it's the bridge, the link between your soul and the divine. Ever had a dream that felt more real than reality? Or that strange sensation where your body falls asleep, but your awareness floats freely? Those aren't just weird moments. They're echoes, fragments of power long buried. Power the ancients nurtured through sacred rituals. Power modern life encourages you to ignore. Because once you awaken your astral body, you don't just access a hidden part of yourself, you begin to unravel a system built on keeping you asleep. The Hermetic masters knew this. They taught that the universe is mind, that thoughts shape form. They left behind breadcrumbs, emerald tablets, sacred symbols, carved walls, all pointing toward one truth: you are more than you've been told. And no, this knowledge didn't vanish. It was hidden, silenced, on purpose. In the next part of our journey, we'll dive into exactly how Hermetic wisdom maps out the invisible anatomy of your soul, and how the astral body is the key to awakening it. To truly grasp this, you've got to see yourself differently. Modern science might say you're just neurons and meat, but to the Hermeticists, you are multi-dimensional. You're made of layers: the physical body, the astral body, the mental body, and beyond. Each layer is more subtle, more refined, more in tune with the divine. Your astral body is like a sacred vehicle traveling between realms seen and unseen. While your physical body is bound by gravity and time, your astral self moves by thought, vibration, and intent. And no, the ancients didn't speak of the astral plane as a fairy tale. They described it as a real place of vivid, structured realm, as rich as waking life, accessed through your inner world. They taught everything is mind, and if everything is mind, then everything can be accessed by it. So what does that mean for you? It means with focused breath, intention, sound, and ancient visualization techniques, you can begin to activate your astral body. You can cross the veil, tap into insight, healing, even communication with higher intelligences. But here's the part that was never supposed to get out. This isn't just mystical talk. It's spiritual freedom. Because someone who can leave their body at will, someone who knows they are not their body, that's someone who can't be controlled. That's why Hermetic knowledge was driven underground. That's why sacred texts were burned, distorted, labeled as dangerous. Because this power, it isn't about escape. It's about reconnection to your soul, to the cosmos, to the source of everything. And in just a moment, we'll explore the ancient techniques used to awaken this hidden self, and the sacred symbols left behind to help guide you home. And once you see how simple yet deeply sacred this knowledge is, you'll understand exactly why they tried to hide it. Ready to unlock what they never wanted you to find. When we look at the human body, We usually just see flesh and bone, a kind of biological machine powered by neurons and chemical reactions. But the Hermetic tradition saw something much deeper. To them, the body wasn't just physical matter. It was a sacred vessel, layered with invisible architecture, a multidimensional being that reflected the cosmos itself. In Hermetic philosophy, everything begins with a single core principle: the all is mind. This means that the universe isn't built from atoms or particles, it's made of pure consciousness, a mental essence that underlies everything. And just as the universe has many layers and dimensions, so do we. Hermetic thinkers believe that humans are made up of multiple bodies: the physical, etheric, astral, mental, and even higher spiritual layers. Each one becomes more subtle, more refined, and more connected to the divine. Of these, the astral body is the one we can most easily access. It's like a bridge between the material world and the unseen realms. It doesn't obey gravity or physical laws, it responds to vibration and intention. This is the part of us that travels in dreams, that leaves the physical body during deep meditation or near-death experiences. It's the inner traveler, capable of exploring unseen realms and interacting with energies that shape our reality. For Hermeticists, these layers weren't just metaphors, they were real. They referred to this framework as the invisible anatomy, a map of energy systems that reveal the state of a person's spiritual and energetic health. When your inner bodies are in alignment, you feel grounded, whole, and vibrant. When they're not, you might feel off, tired, scattered, emotionally stuck. What we usually chalk up to stress or imbalance might actually be a kind of spiritual misalignment. And fascinatingly, modern science is starting to circle back to some of these ancient truths. Quantum physicists now explore how the observer affects reality. Neuroscientists study how thoughts and intentions influence healing. They're slowly catching up to what Hermetic adepts knew long ago: that consciousness is the driving force of creation, and your inner world shapes your outer experience. The idea of the invisible anatomy opens the door to a profound realization. You're not just in a body, you are a body of light, energy, intention, and memory. Awakening the astral body isn't about escaping the world, it's about embracing all of it. The physical and the non-physical, the seen and unseen, the sacred and the mundane. In ancient traditions, wisdom wasn't simply written down, it was encoded. Sacred geometry, symbols, layered myths, these weren't just decorations. They were blueprints for the inner universe hidden within us. Hermeticists understood this. They didn't describe the body as a machine, they saw it as a temple made of light, thought, and spirit. Even the famous Emerald Tablet speaks in riddles for a reason. As above, so above, below, isn't just a poetic phrase, it's a map for understanding yourself. What's out there in the cosmos exists within you. You see echoes of this everywhere. In ancient Egypt, the Kayan were energetic aspects of a person that continued after death. Greek traditions spoke of the psyche and eidolon, astral forms that lived on beyond the body. The Vedic system describes kosha layers, subtle sheaths of self, including astral and causal bodies that connect us to higher realms. What's truly striking isn't just the similarity across all these traditions, it's how fiercely this knowledge was guarded. It wasn't for everyone. It was reserved for initiates, not those with status, but those who were ready inside. Once you saw the truth, you couldn't unsee it. And more importantly, you couldn't be easily controlled. Take the caduceus, for example. Today we associate it with medicine. But it's actually a symbol of the energetic body. The two serpents represent energy channels like I and Pingala in Kundalini Yoga. The staff, that's the spine, the central channel of spiritual awakening. The wings, the moment of ascension, when the astral body takes flight. So why the secrecy? Because this knowledge gave you more than understanding, it gave you power. The power to explore your dreams, communicate the beyond, heal yourself, and rise above fear. And if everyone had access to that, who would need priests, rulers, or systems to mediate their experience? That's the quiet rebellion at the heart of Hermeticism. It's a return to the truth that you are so much more than just flesh and blood. And right at the center of that truth is the astral body. In the next part, we'll explore the hidden techniques the ancient adepts used, methods that bypass dogma and awaken this luminous double that still waits inside you. So, are you ready to remember what was never meant to be forgotten? There's a reason most people today haven't heard about the astral body. It's not because the knowledge disappeared. It was buried on purpose. And the ones who buried it, they knew exactly what they were doing. From the burning of the Library of Alexandria to secret meetings held by empires and religious elites, history is packed with quiet, intentional acts of erasure. Truths were hidden behind dogma, scrubbed from ancient scrolls, and written off as myth or madness. Why go to such lengths? Because this wasn't just spiritual fluff or curiosity. This was dangerous knowledge. The Hermetic teachings claim that humans aren't just ordinary beings, we're divine by design. That within us lies the power to go beyond the physical world, tap into higher dimensions, and shape reality itself through the focused force of our will and thoughts. Now, if that's true and many ancient mystics believed it was, why would we ever need external control? Why bow to kings, obey priests, or live in fear? See, activating the astral body wasn't just a mystical ritual. It was a blueprint for freedom. Real freedom. The kind that scares the hell out of anyone who builds power on obedience and control. In ancient Egypt, initiates in mystery schools learned how to travel the astral planes, communicate with deities, and prepare for life after death, not through worship, but through inner mastery. In Gnostic texts, even Christ wasn't just a savior to be followed, he symbolized the awakening of the divine light within each of us. The astral body, the body of light, wasn't just some wild idea, it was real, essential. And it was meant to be awakened through knowledge, intention, and discipline. But over time, that light was dimmed on purpose. Empires were built on forgotten truths. When Constantine turned Christianity into an institution, Gnostic teachings were banned. Hermetic wisdom was called heresy, and the teachings that once empowered individuals, they became dangerous ideas, so that sacred knowledge was hidden in symbols, buried in allegories. And even now, that suppression hasn't fully disappeared. Today, if someone mentions astral travel or higher planes, they're mocked. Mainstream science avoids anything that goes beyond the brain, and talk of energy bodies. Most people dismiss it as nonsense. But the truth hasn't gone away. It still lives in quiet teachings passed from teacher to student, in texts with coded language, and in the silent knowing of those who've touched something beyond the veil. Because the Hermetic secret wasn't just about how the universe works. It was about the divine technology within you, and it doesn't respond to machines. It responds to awareness. The astral body isn't just a cool spiritual idea, it's a doorway. And once you open it, you can't go back. It leads to real experiences, to other realms of knowledge, to contact with entities, some radiant, some dark, to the undeniable realization that you are more than your skin, your name, your story. And that's the threat. Because when someone wakes up their astral body, they're no longer easy to control. They start to see through the noise, past the media, past the institutions, past the lies. They become sovereign, and a sovereign soul. You can't rule that the same way you rule someone who's still asleep. That's why they never taught you this in school. Why it was left out of textbooks. Not because it isn't real, but because it's too real, too empowering, too free. The forbidden Hermetic secret isn't some ancient spell. It's this: you're not just a person, you're a portal. And when you step through that portal, when you activate that energy body that's always been within you, everything changes. Coming up next, We'll dig into the exact methods mystery schools once used to awaken this power. Breath, sound, movement, intention. The tools never left. You've just been taught to forget. They say the astral body doesn't awaken in silence. Because there's no sound, it awakens in the kind of silence where all the noise fades away. Not just the noise outside, but the inner noise, the constant thoughts, the worries, the fear. For thousands of years, those who sought to awaken their inner light weren't told to believe. They were told to practice. Because this isn't about blind faith. It's about frequency. And the first step, it's breath. But not just breathing like we all do every day. Conscious breath. Ancient texts called it pra, the life force we pull in with every inhale. Hermetic adepts knew when breath becomes intentional, it's like a bridge between your body and something deeper, more subtle. Steady, rhythmic breathing calms the system. It tunes you in, prepares your energy for what's coming. Then comes vibration. Mantras, ancient sounds, or specific tones, they're not just chants. They're language. The language of the astral world. Words like RAMA or M don't need translation. They feel, they resonate. They shake something awake inside you. Some traditions used crystal bowls, others, just the human voice. It never mattered what was used, but why. The intent was everything. To wake up what's been sleeping under the surface. Then, there's visualization. Not just daydreaming, but precision focus. Hermetic initiates trained themselves to hold detailed mental images. A glowing light in the chest. A spiral rising up the spine. Or their double, a mirror, self floating just above their body. This wasn't just imagination. These were blueprints. Instructions for the subconscious to activate something ancient and real. And there were rituals. Not the big, showy ones. Simple, sacred moments. Lighting a candle at sunset. Placing symbols under a pillow. Soaking in salt water to cleanse your energy. Lying north to south to align with Earth's own current. These weren't random acts, they were signals. Messages to the astral body saying, I'm ready. But the real shift, it happens in stillness. In the quiet dark, that space right before sleep, when your mind begins to float and your body fades. That's when the astral body stirs. A tingling in your limbs, a buzz in your chest. That weightless feeling right before you drift off. It's not a dream, it's a signal. A sign that the veil between worlds is thinning, that your deeper self is starting to remember its shape. But remember, this isn't just about power. It's about protection too. The astral realms aren't dangerous by default, but they're vast, alive, reflective. That's why ancient traditions taught protection rites. Wrapping yourself in light, answering to a mantra, calling on guardians, not out of fear, out of respect. Because this journey isn't about escaping your body. It's about returning to you, reclaiming the forgotten parts, the lost pieces. Across time, trauma, and dreams left behind, this is a sacred return. And once you step through that door, your view of reality, it'll never be the same. In the final part, we'll explore the real reason this wisdom was hidden. Why, in an age of endless noise and distraction, no one ever told you what you truly are. And maybe, just maybe, that answer is exactly what your soul's been waiting for. Let me ask you something. What if you were never supposed to know you could leave your body? Really think about that. Who benefits from keeping you stuck in fear? This knowledge, the astral body, the ancient techniques to awaken it, it wasn't lost by accident. It was hidden, intentionally. Not because it would hurt you, but because it threatened control. Throughout history, the most powerful empires weren't built with weapons. They were built with ideas. Ideas that convinced people they were small, alone, powerless. And once institutions realized this, they held on to it. Because when people are disconnected from their inner world, they're easier to control, to manipulate, to sell to. Why would the system encourage self-mastery when fear gets the job done faster? Even religion, with all its beauty and truth often became about gatekeeping. Divinity was placed outside you, in the hands of a priest, a book, a rule. Mystical paths that offered direct experience, Gnosticism, Hermeticism, Theurgy, they were silenced, burned, erased. Because if you could find the divine within, why would you need permission? Over time, the control just evolved. Science replaced spirit. If it couldn't be seen, touched, measured, it wasn't real. The soul became a metaphor, the astral body a fairy tale. Intuition was traded for algorithms. Wonder was replaced by data, and slowly the world outside got louder, while the world within faded. Screens replaced stillness. Noise drowned out knowing, and as we drifted from our own inner truth, our sense of reality, of meaning started to crack. But here's the thing, truth doesn't die in symbols, in dreams, in the random moments you can't explain. It shows up in books that fall into your lap, in déjà vu, in that quiet pull you can't ignore. And now, something is shifting. More people are sensing it. That they've only been given part of the story. That this body, this life isn't all there is. That consciousness isn't trapped in a brain. That dreams and visions aren't just imagination. They're messages. This isn't some passing trend. This is an awakening. In a world addicted to distraction, silence is radical. In a system built on sameness, sovereignty is rebelling. The Hermetic teachings were hidden not because they were false, but because they were powerful, too liberating, too sacred to stay in the open. But truth, it's here, still alive, and now it's yours, so pause, feel. Close your eyes and remember who you really are. You're not just a consumer, not just a worker, not just a citizen. You are consciousness in motion. You are light layered in form. You are here to remember. This path, it's not about escape. It's about awakening. It's about knowing that deep inside you, you have the tools to heal, to see, to know far beyond what the world ever taught you. And that secret, it's not forbidden anymore. It's yours. So if this stirred something inside you, a flicker, a memory, a feeling you can't quite name, don't ignore it. That's your deeper self waking up. We've only scratched the surface of what's been hidden. There's so much more to explore: rituals, lost texts, cosmic codes to unlock the full you. If you felt a connection here, subscribe to the Enchanted Archive. This journey into the forgotten and the forbidden is just beginning. Turn on notifications, not for the algorithm, but so you don't miss what they never wanted you to find. And in the comments, share what you felt. Have you ever sensed your astral body? Have you seen beyond the veil in a dream or a moment of meditation? Your voice might be the sign someone else needs. And if this resonated, hit like, not just for the metrics, but as a beacon, to let others know you're not alone. Until next time, guard your energy, trust your light, and never stop seeking. The hidden path is open now, and you're already walking it.